Hello?
Hello, Yuli.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for
Hey,
joining me.
hey, no, thanks so much for having a chance to talk with me, too.
Now, where are you at right now? Are you in Mexico or are you in Los Angeles?
No, we just came back from Mexico. We are in LA right now. Yeah.
Now, do you guys still
Had a couple.
all reside in Monterrey or another part of Mexico?
No. We're actually living in LA right now. We started the band in the beginning of 2000 in Monterrey, Mexico. And then after releasing our first two albums, we started to have a lot of like shows around California area, and also a lot of like film supervisors and like video game supervisors were asking us to do some music for TV shows or movies, and so we started to have a lot of things here in LA. So we were spending more time here in LA than in Monterrey, so we just moved
Just had
to
to move
LA.
over. Yeah, the first time I found out about you guys, it was when the LAMC was held in Los Angeles the one year.
Yeah.
I was an intern for Tomas Cookman at his office, and I was
Oh,
helping him
awesome.
out, and that's how I discovered you guys. And I've run into you a few times. I was at the Amoeba Music when Atlas came out, where you played there, and then I saw you
Oh,
open
yeah,
up
I
for
remember
Manu.
that.
Yeah, it was like a small show, and then I saw you open up for Manu Chao at the Shrine, and then
Exactly.
the Latin Grammys after parties. I've run into some really. You've had some fantastic shows, man. Just want you to know, had some really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, man. No, yeah. It's been a fun show we've been doing around.
Well, you know, when I think of Monterrey, Mexico, and the alternative music scene, the two bands I always think of are Plastilina Mosh and Kinky. When the Latin alternative music scene started to pop up, the first band that I discovered was Plastilina Mosh. I saw them on MTV. They were talking about this, this Latin alternative music explosion that was coming, from places like Mexico. And Plastilina Mosh, I think, was like one of the first early bands to be, and not just a rock band, but like an alternative band. What was the scene like back in the 90s and the 80s as far as like alternative music?
Before the mid '90s, every band, rock band, or every musician that or even pop needed to move and live in Mexico City if they wanted to have a career or to have an opportunity to be in the music business.
Yeah.
And then after like in the mid '90s, suddenly Monterrey started to have a musical scene of its own. It was happening, and it started to have a lot of buzz around it because all of these bands were doing music and performing in it was called Barrio Antiguo. It's like downtown Monterrey, where it had a lot of bars and a lot of bands were doing their own music and mixing styles and doing their own thing, and everybody was starting to hear about it. And Mexico City, suddenly all the labels were like, "Oh, what's going on in Monterrey?" So they started to sign bands, even though that they were not in Mexico City already living or doing something. And suddenly bands from Monterrey or started to have like you say, like this exposure in MTV and national television. And it was really surprising for everybody that because they were still living in Monterrey and hanging with their own families in Monterrey instead of having to move to Mexico City and leave your hometown. So it was really interesting to have this thing going on. And then also in Guadalajara and also in Tijuana, at the same time, it started to happen stuff a little some similar stuff like that, like in Tijuana with Nortec Collective started to do their own thing, and then in Guadalajara we started to hear some bands from there. It started to be really interesting to hear that a lot of things was going on in Mexico as the whole country, not just in Mexico City, because before that, you heard about a band and you didn't even know where they're from. You thought they were from Mexico City because everything was going on in Mexico City. And now you could tell that this band is from Monterrey and this other band is Guadalajara, this other band is coming from Tijuana. And what's really live that moment, and then and also started to help other acts to and bands to develop and also have the opportunity to sign with a major label or to have some, like you said, videos on MTV or or music on the radio, stuff like that. So that's how it all started in all these alternative.
Yeah, the alternative form of music. Do you play the accordion? You play the keyboards? Very electronic based. What are some of the bands that influenced you as you were, growing up as a musician?
We're from the north part of Mexico, so it's for us very familiar to grow up and listen to Mexican traditional folk music like rancheras and norteñas and cumbia and all that. And then, because we were living in the border with the states, and we were also having all this information coming from the Anglo music, like we were hearing to heavy metal, and also we were listening to suddenly more electronica, rock. And it was interesting to be growing up and have all this variety of music that we were listening to, instead of for example, like my father is very like, I'm just into rock, or the other guys, no, I'm always just into cumbia and ranchero. And other guys, no, I'm all just into like jazz and Latin. So it's very normal to see that in everybody, But I think this new generation started to understand that you could enjoy ranchero, and then you can. After listening to Tigre del Norte, then you would be listening to Iron Maiden, and then after that you were listening to the Chemical Brothers, and then you're listening to Vicente Fernandez, and then so it's also interesting for us to have all these different influences, and at the end we are making our own music based on that, on our influences, on what we enjoy listening while we were growing up, and also what we enjoy listening right now. It's a generation that I think is more open to any genre of style of music. Suddenly for us it's interesting to hear a song that has electronica and then some rock and some cumbia, and then so it's something familiar and natural for us.
As the albums continue to progress, and from the self-titled album and then to the Atlas and then into Reina, you started incorporating some more English lyrics into the songs. Did you get a kind of backlash from fans, or was everybody okay with that?
No, it was also very natural for us because, like I said, we grew up living in the border with the States, so it was very natural for us to have all this information in English and have all these influences of ads, television, things that we were growing up living and listening to. So for us, it's starting to but since our first album, half of the songs are, even though that they maybe don't have a lot of lyrics, but even just the titles are in English, like Gray Spot, Corman, and all of, and all these songs that we did in English, and they were already for us like a natural way of expressing ourselves. And then while we were progressing on our albums, we were kind of maybe incorporating more, depending of if we were touring more in the States, then suddenly we were just getting more inspired on things that we were living and seeing in English or hearing in English. Then we were spending more time in Mexico. So Reina is an album that it has a lot of more, I think a little bit more of Spanish lyrics as well. But then we came to Barracuda, and then Money Mark helped us also produce that album and has a mix of English and Spanish songs. And then our fifth album, Sueño de la Máquina, that's like 99% in Spanish. So it's just the way we feel, how we feel we do it. It's not like we are thinking on we should do a song in English because of this, or we should do a song in Spanish. It's more about inspiration, and if it sounds right, we just leave it the way it is, and in the language that it came. So for us, it's natural, and we're not thinking.
The Kinky now is one of the bands mentioned, along with some of the biggest names from the rock en español scene, from the history of it, that have had the biggest impact, over the years. Maldita Vecindad, Mano Negra, the Cadillacs, Café Tacuba. Now Kinky, you guys are one of those bands mentioned as a big influence on young bands. I've seen the musical influence that you guys have had on a lot of the new bands coming out. It's been less than a decade, but now you guys are influencing a whole other armies of bands out there. How does it feel?
It's something that as a musician, I think it's important for us to inspire. Even not if you are not a musician, if we inspire you to do something. I mean, we get some feedback from fans or from people that, when I hear your music, I just jump and start working and finish my things that I need to be done because it gets me so excited and stuff. And then I heard some people that I just use it to go to the gym and it pumps me up and it's great. And then people say like, I got inspired with you and I developed this new musical project. So for us, it's a great reward to hear that because it's like you said. I mean, the history of music, it's a story that is built piece by piece, and it's important that we don't miss those links for so long, so we can keep developing. And for example, in Mexico, our musical scene, it's important that we just not have just pop or norteño or ranchero. It's important that we have other musical styles that can be also important and that can influence people to be open to new styles of music and enjoy music as it is, not because it has a specific style or genre,
What do you think about the future of the Latin alternative music scene? Like I said, when the first Kinky album came out, the Latin alternative scene it seemed maybe I'm wrong, that it was really, really big. It was really huge. All the bands at the time, all the biggest bands, from the veteran bands like the Cadillacs, Café Tacuba, everybody was putting albums all at the same time. And you guys at the time were the new band on the block. What direction do you think that whole scene is moving?
We have more bands than ever, which is really great. We are in a stage where maybe we're still having those amazing alternative acts that started all this, like Café Tacuba, like you said, like La Maldita Vecindad, Los Cadillacs, Manu Chao, all these great bands that started all this. Now I think Mexico, it's in particular, has a lot of new bands going on that people are enjoying a lot. And the Mexico alternative scene, it's very strong and it's big. And it's just about to be discovered from other countries as well. I think right now it's getting stronger in Mexico, and people are supporting it a lot. So there are a lot of right now like festivals that are held by just alternative bands. They are held with 60,000 people, which they say, like, for example, we heard from promoters that it's bigger than pop right now. So it's the new pop, if you want to
yeah.
that,
No, that's...
And it's great because it's the new. So maybe they are not all these bands are not very known outside of Mexico, but I think they are about to be discovered, and I think Mexico is about to be discovered with all this new scene of great bands and music that is coming from Mexico. And Mexico that also it's supporting a lot of this music. It's not like they are not considering to anything. It's like, right now, for example, we just were part of this huge like campaign called Mexico's Suena, the Mexico sound of Mexico, kind of.
Yeah.
If you want to translate it. And they were doing TV shows, specials of concerts, live concerts of every band, even there is alternative, indie, electronica, rock, pop, regional music like folk music, ranchero, everything. So everybody had a spot and a chance to play their music. So I think it's something that right now in Mexico it's amazing to be part of, and and feel that people are supporting it, media is supporting it, TV is supporting it. Everything. I think it's being considered as important, and everybody feels that it's doing something and enjoying it, doing it because it's their own style, their own style of music, and it's great to turn on the TV and then you see a concert of a mariachi band or a cumbia band, and then you see a concert of electronica or an indie band the next day on the same channel and everything. So it's great to see that. And
no, that's fantastic. So the Sueño de la Máquina, when does that come out? In July?
July 17th. Yeah.
July 17th, excellent. Now, this Saturday, you guys are going to be at the headlining the Silver Lake Jubilee, which is a great event. I've been to it before, and I was excited you guys are going to be there. It's been a while since I've seen you, but what's your new show like?
Well, I mean, through the years, we've been kind of incorporating more stuff, and maybe for when we do shows in Mexico, that we have the opportunity to perform in big festivals or big stages where we can put all our things that we have. I mean, we have cameras, video, lights, and a lot of things going on. But we base all our concert also in our performance. I think we enjoying also the performance of the musicians live, which is really cool for us. Not just to have all these things going on that then suddenly you forget about the guys that are doing the music, and performance of the instruments. So we bring a lot of our instruments live, like all of big sets of percussion and drums and the accordions and a lot of keyboards and guitars and bass and all of that. We incorporate with visuals and lights and everything like that. And it's been growing like partially, but for Sueño de la Máquina, kind of we even twist a little bit of our old songs, and we kind of blend it into the new songs, and so it's also really a very danceful set, very upbeat and dancey. It's very about dance.
That's awesome. No, it's going to be a great show. I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday, man. So, hey, well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Ulises, appreciate it, man. I'm a big fan. It's going to be a great show. Looking forward to seeing you guys. And we'll see you on Saturday in Silver Lake.
Thanks to you. Thanks so much to you, Matt. And I hope to see you then. And anytime, just see you, say hi at the show then.
Excellent, brother. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thanks. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
¿Cuál quiere que le cantemos? ¿Cuál quiere que le cantemos? ¿Cuál quiere que le cantemos? ¿Cuál quiere que le cantemos?
It says